What do you find scary? It's all relative, right? For some of you, it might be this. Me, maybe it's this. For some parents of teenagers in the late 80s, it might have been this. Guns and effing Roses. 5 guys who looked like they'd wandered away from a bike gang to form a rock and roll band. And what a band it was. One of the biggest. And not that this is an indication, but it's something worth noting. They were also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And cutting such an iconic figure amongst it all was him, young Saul Hudson, Slash. And you know, when GNR imploded amidst a tsunami of egos, drugs, and debauchery, and just time, Slash looked forward. Velvet Revolver, which was also a huge hit, solo records, and now the young boy who had the Slash scared out of him as a kid by films like Night of the Living Dead and The Omen finds himself in the business of making scary movies. But what will be different about his? The first one is a creepy chiller called Nothing Left to Fear.
Hey, what's going on? Go! Get in the car!
Welcome back. How are you? Hawkins!
Everything's good. Busy. As you know how it gets.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a record, and the movie's coming out.
Movies and records. Not surprising at all to me that you got into the movie business in this respect, because I think that both rock and roll and films should be cinematic, and rock and roll, specifically the kind that you made, should scare people in a way. So it seems like a natural transition. Was it for you?
Well, it's an interesting thing because I didn't have any plans to become a movie producer, and it was an opportunity that more or less presented itself, and I was like, oh, this could be really interesting because it's just horror. It's not just to become a producer for being a producer's sake. It was my favorite genre.
Do you remember the first time not movie-related where you felt proper fear?
Reading The Shining. The book is by far 10 times better than the movie because it's so scary. And the movie's not necessarily scary.
The hedges at the end and the oh, it's too much almost, right?
Yeah.
And how old were you when you were going through it?
I was 14, 15. From a very young age, I was sort of weaned on all these scary movies. And I remember the first one that I saw that was effectively scary was Night of the Living Dead.
Okay, let's watch it. I think we have it.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah.
All right. Still creeps me out to this day.
I snuck in when I was 5 to watch this at a library.
Oh, really?
Massive, right?
Yeah. It doesn't show it, but the girl just comes in. She hacks her mother up with a spade. And it's stuck with me all these years.
I imagine it's not inconsequential to you growing up a guy of mixed race that at the end of that film, society was to be rebuilt by a blonde woman and a black man.
Yeah. You know, I never even actually thought about it back then. It was only until way later, you know, the irony of all that. Yeah.
That it could be real wildly influential.
Yeah.
The company's called Slasher Films, but, and when I watched the movie, which I really enjoyed, and it stars a Canadian, Tupper, but it's not a slasher film.
No, that's sort of, we called it, you know, the company Slasher Films. But it is the antithesis of, you know, what I would call slasher movies. It's really about the things that you don't see and the things, you know, leaving some mystery to your imagination as to what's going on, but you know what it is. And so your brain can come up with something even scarier than what they can spell out on the screen. So it's really about psychological terror.
What's interesting about this is you've got a preacher handing a town over to another preacher. Nearly 70% of Americans, depending on who you ask, believe there is a heaven and a hell. So a town that would then mean there has to be a gate to hell.
Right.
So for them, this is not a joke.
No, that was the exciting, you know, like when I first read the story, I think one of the reasons I picked it over the other scripts was the gateway to hell being in Stull, Kansas, which is just a small little community and does have this sort of urban mythology about it being the gateway to hell, and there's this old graveyard there and an old church, and it's got all these stories around it, which the origins of which I don't really know. But that was the fascinating part, because I think as people, we sort of love this sort of good and evil battle, you know? So as soon as you bring religion into it, it becomes a much deeper subject than just something scary.
What costs more, the budget of this film or at your peak, your band's party week? You know, could you spend on one movie what you spent in 1 week partying?
No. No, I take it back. No, the budget of the movie definitely exceeds 1 week of partying, no matter how far into partying you want to go.
I had Robert Plant in the chair, and we were talking about the post-Zeppelin era, and he said people forget that I was only 31, 32 years old when that band ended.
Right.
So everybody there was a shadow that was chasing me, like I imagine GNR is for you. But he goes, I was only 32. What the hell am I going to do for the rest of my life? Did you face some of that as well as you moved forward?
No. I mean, let's see, but when it all came to an end for me with Guns N' Roses, I didn't have any real perspective of how old I was or how long I'm going to be doing this. It was sort of a relief to get free of all that and just to sort of explore whatever opportunities, you know, and just go out there and have a good time. And then I had too much of a good time and I had to bring it back a little bit.
Duff has a financial company. Did he help you raise money for this film?
No, I was just, he probably would have thought it was too risky.
But I guess that's part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stick around, more with Slash right after this.
All right, coming up, the collaboration we've all been waiting for. How about Slash and the Teletubbies together at last? That's next.
There is no chance in hell your band is ever playing on this show.
But your fault.
No.
Yes.
No.
Come on.
Many years ago.
Bad news, guys. Big man said no dice.
Oh, man, that sucks.
I know it sucks, Dave.
Did you tell him about the shirts?
Yeah, he knows about the shirts, Slash.
Did you tell him about the hump?
He knows about everything, Engelbert. He still said no.
Well, can we keep the shirts?
So, you're back here on the program.
We were just talking about that day. They asked me if I wanted to play on this Engelbert Humperdinck and Friends record.
Yeah.
And they just called me about it the other day.
They did?
2 years later.
So, okay, so on our show, we had Slash was here on the same day Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics was here, and then we asked Engelbert Humperdinck if he'd come in, and you guys all graciously agreed to do that comedy bit for this fictional band called Faster Disaster. It got picked up in metal and rock websites around the world that there was this new super group.
Yeah.
With you and Engelbert.
And I didn't know what they were talking about
Yeah.
until finally the details of it, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me how stuff gets around now.
Totally.
You know?
I want to play you a scene, and I want you to tell me how you'd score the scene, okay?
Okay.
Dibsy had the hat.
But watch the ending.
Dipsy, hat.
Okay, now, these shows without volume are horror films.
Yeah.
Right? So when we thought about how can we get Slash to score a horror film, I thought about the Teletubbies. So I'm gonna bring you a guitar. How do you score that film? Do you have a minute?
Okay.
Now, it's important to note, this is a very special guitar. It was autographed by Robbie Robertson, Gordon Lightfoot, and Slash. So this is a very special guitar. Is it in tune?
Yeah, I think so. Close enough.
All right.
But those two shows, that particular show,
Yeah.
I lived that show. I had 2 kids and went through this. All right. So that music is ingrained in my head. I don't know if I could get away from it.
Can we play it again without the volume? Yeah. Can we show it without the volume? That was kind of creepy. It was a bit Frank Zappa creepy.
Yeah.
The question is, which one of those Teletubbies dies first?
Oh, you know what? The little guy in the one with the ball
Yeah,
was walking
he's gotta
down
go
the hill.
first.
Yeah, he's definitely got to go
All right,
first.
we'll take a guitar to your hands so you don't feel the pressure to do that again.
Can I borrow this?
Yeah, you signed it. You want to play it?
I'm working on a new song. So.
You are?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it now.
Let's hear part of it.
No. I didn't bring a guitar with me on this trip because, you know, it was going to be fast and I knew I was going to be busy. But so I listened to it before I left, and so it's stuck in my head. And so I'm having a guitar just to make sure I'm doing it right.
Well, you can practice if you want with the guitar.
I'll just do it for a second when we're done.
All right, no problem. Sounds good. Okay. How about this? Do we have this here to show 'em? Angry Birds theme.
Yeah. That was one of those things I recorded on the road around the same time that I was doing the soundtrack. Really? Yeah.
So there actually an Angry Bird slash character. Is there an angry slashy bird?
There is a slash bird.
Yeah.
When you open up the game, Angry Bird Space Game, I'm on the front. Yeah. I was really honored to do that because I was such an addict, right? Still an addict to Angry Birds. Yeah.
The same thing for Guitar Hero?
The day that game came out, the day they sent it to my house, and I was like, I can't play this. I'm on the box. I can't play it.
It's just too weird for you?
It's just too weird.
Congratulations,
It's very flattering.
on all the things you're doing. And I'm so excited you're in the horror business. That's amazing.
Yeah, you know, so hopefully we'll get to talk this more at length. You know? I love it. I didn't know you were a horror guy.
I love it, man. Slash, Nothing Left to Fear is the name of the film. You'll see it on Blu-ray on demand October the 8th. Watch it late at night. Watch it late at night. You're going to love it. Slash, we'll be right back.